Commander Uper returns to the war room after a short lunch, following the return of only half the pilots he dispatched in the morning's opening gambit to push back Arab forces from Israeli borders. Despite the success in destroying enemy air defenses in the immediate area of operation, the commander couldn't help shake an uneasy feeling of what could happen should the Arab coalition organize a massive counter-air operation. A vision came to mind of red air filling the sky and overwhelming his forces. He took the last sip of his cafe car and steeled himself, not today. The focus of the afternoon phase of the operation is to weaken the amassed armor along the borders. Much to the commander's surprise, Syrian forces are the first to engage, pushing a brigade of T-55 tanks across the plains directly into the Israeli lines, which are swiftly engaged by a mix of Merkava 4 and M60 tanks, which pick them off at range with ease. A pair of Mi-24 Hinds follow and manage to destroy a number of SAM pieces and M60 tanks, before being overwhelmed by ground fire. Meanwhile, Dodge 2's cap flight of F-15 Eagles has arrived on station, and are quickly vectored onto a pair of MiG-23s and dispatched with prejudice. A second pair arrive moments later only to meet the same fate, the Israeli pilots showing no mercy following the loss of their brothers only hours prior. With cap achieving initial control of the skies, Panther 1 flight begin their precision anti-armor strikes using the Maverick air-to-ground missiles, to great effect. A second, larger wave of 6 enemy aircraft have pushed in from Beirut, Raik and Al-Dimair. Following the crippling loss of strike aircraft in the morning, Panther 3 flight was retasked with strike escort, and swiftly downs an incoming MiG-21. A second pair of MiG-21s push towards the strike, and are intercepted by a pair of Israeli Kafir fighters from Dodge 1. The first missile fails to track due to heavy use of electronic warfare in the area, but is downed by the second radar missile. Sensing the danger, the second MiG pulls between the two Kafir to negate any range advantage. Undeterred, Dodge 1-2 utters a prayer before sending a heat-seeking missile towards the Bandit and Flight Light. The missile hits the Bandit but fails to detonate, though a follow-up shot finally ends it. To the south, the Dodge 2 has been engaged by a 3-ship of MiG-23s. 2-4 secures the first kill, narrowly avoiding an incoming R-60 missile. 2-3 is less fortunate after his radar-guided missile is defeated by chaff, and is struck point-blank by an R-60, though the pilot managed to safely eject. To the west, a pair of Su-17 fitters have slipped through the net, and are pushing towards the strike aircraft. Panic envelopes the cap flights, who all begin to converge on the Bandits, Panther 3-2 downing the first, but 3-3 narrowly missing. The kill is eventually secured by Dodge 2-4, who'd taken the shot with a Bandit on his tail. Tragically, during the exchange, Panther 3-3 destroyed his flightmate Panther 3-2, the first fratricide of the day. A pair of MiG-23s had followed into the furball and were now on top of the cap flights. Dodge 2-4 broke his F-15's wings during a turn, and unfazed by his flightmate's demise, Panther 3-3 secures kills on both Bandits, and 3-1 mops up a third to the west. Although the sky is cleared, the ground remains hot, and 3-3 is lost to a man-pad. To the west, a single MiG-21 was shot by Dodge 2-2, but remained airborne. In an exemplary display of airmanship, as the MiG was deemed combat ineffective and had turned north, 2-2 broke off to allow the MiG to leave, though the pilot later crashed without ejecting. With skies secure once again, Pope flights of A-4s pushed into the AO, tasked with destruction of enemy command assets, depots, artillery pieces, and logistics. The sky filled with tracer fire from the ground as 2-1 and 2-4 ran in on their target, landing a number of rocket hits. 2-2 was shortly behind, though with the gun crews zeroed from the first pass, was less fortunate and forced to eject after his pass. Colt 1 flight followed rapidly with another devastating salvo. With both Colt flights circling overhead, the Syrian gun crews became saturated, ineffectively dividing fire between targets. However, a lucky hit catches 2-1, who is shot down. Winchester and needing to rearm, Colt returned to base, chased by another pair of MiG-23s. With much of the cap also rearming, the task falls to remaining elements of Dodge 1 to engage. 1-3 shoots, but the missile fails to track once again due to electronic warfare, though the second secures a kill. The remaining MiG has slipped through, and Panther II-4, a strike aircraft, is forced to defend itself and fells the bandit using guns. The U.S. forces operating from the Theodore Roosevelt carrier have decided to respond to a Syrian threat of Silkworm anti-ship missiles, and in the words of Devil One lead, "We're going to go kick their teeth in and break their toys." Devil One's F-18 Hornet set to work using their AGM-62 walleye-guided bombs to destroy enemy air defenses. Out of bombs but with targets still remaining, Devils opt to conduct gun runs on the remaining targets, resulting in the loss of 1-4 and 1-2. Despite the losses, Devil have created space for Forward One's Tomcats to begin their bombing, destroying the imminent Silkworm threat. Refueled and rearmed, Colt and Panther flights have returned to their objectives in the east. Maintaining air superiority, Dodge 1-3 and 1-4 engage a pair of Su-17s, with 1-4 securing the first kill. Unbeknown to the Kafir pilots, the remaining fitter pilot is a veteran ace, determined to continue the fight despite being massively outgunned. Despite a valiant defense, he's eventually killed in close with guns by 1-4. Colt 2-3 and 2-4 recommence with a turn-in pass, so Crispit reportedly received praise from the Syrian commander himself before the rockets began to rain down. Panther continued their precision Maverick strikes, significantly outperforming the accuracy that had been expected. With objectives hit, the flights were recalled home, with Cap the last to leave. Covering the package, Dodge 2-1 engages and destroys a further 2 fitter aircraft that had been pursuing the Allies. With momentum on his side, Commander Upper seized the opportunity to exploit the battered defenses and push 3 tank brigades across the plain to push back what little remained. The sun set on the first day of the war. Despite a number of losses, all Day 1 objectives had been met, if not exceeded. With limited exceptions, the professionalism of the airmen, commanders and ground controllers was self-evident, and the force had proven its ability to perform in an operation of this unprecedented scale, though this was only the beginning.